spent my childhood looking for a way just to say hello. Or I love you.
Hi, I'm Sharon Hart, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my son, Jaison. He doesn't speak, he never has. But when he was 10, he started typing to communicate. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life to get to know my son, his thoughts, his feelings, his dreams, and to realize that he was brilliant. And when he was 15, he decided to write a play. And the play got a stage reading at CU. And the play is called Dreams of an Autistic Playwright. It's about his lonely life at home and his dream life with an ogre, a little mermaid, an Arabian princess, a wizard, and a genie.
People like me live in a world of loneliness. People like me don't get seen for the beauty in our hearts. I can't talk with my mouth. I'm the type of person that has to type to communicate. I'm sure some people judge me for being different. But hopefully, some people are open-hearted. I'm just extremely lonely. Please, don't stop loving me.
So recently, Jaison upgraded the play to a musical and added 10 songs. And Jaison's play presents it in a way that's so uplifting and so inspiring. And we have a chance to get this project all around the world because we have 2 filmmakers who want to produce this and turn the musical into a movie.
I still love you, I forgive you every day, and I pray that you will take the time just to be my friend.
Well, hello everyone and welcome. I'm thrilled to introduce Sharon Hart, a homeschool mom with years of experience raising 2 neurodivergent children and helping them achieve incredible success. Over our next few lives, sessions will be packed with heartfelt stories, practical advice, and empowering tools to support your journey as homeschool moms. And today, our topic is bringing out the best in your homeschool child. We're here to listen to 2 homeschool success stories, a child with autism and a child with dyslexia. So without further ado, Sharon, please say hello.
I'm so excited to be sharing this. In some ways, it's sort of the debut of the whole project on a public scale, and it's just enormously exciting to be here with you. And I do have some amazing stories about my 2 boys. My older son has autism, and my young one has dyslexia, and they both did some amazing things. And I believe it was a result of their homeschool experiences. And I'm really excited to be sharing these with you moms, because I know how hard it can be to homeschool your kids and to have the courage to homeschool your children who have special challenges like this, neurodivergent challenges or whatever kind of special need they might have. And I have a background as a special ed teacher as well. So, I want to be here and give you some support that you can succeed with your children too, even if you don't feel at the moment like you are. You may be and not even know it. You may be succeeding and not even know it.
Right. So tell us, Sharon, what inspired you to homeschool your sons with especially with, their unique challenges?
Well, my younger son, I didn't know he had dyslexia when I started homeschooling him. He was like 5. He wasn't really reading much yet, and that was okay at that moment, so I didn't realize it. But my older son, the one who has autism, I had been fighting with the school system and fighting to get him all kinds of services in the public school. And when he turned 13, I was like, no. I'm not going to spend my energy fighting the school system. I'm going to spend my energy helping my son. So having had a special ed background, I was under the impression it would be really easy to try to do that with my children. But homeschooling is really different than being a public school teacher. Some of my background helped me, but it wasn't. It was a whole new challenge.
Sure.
Was. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I totally understand about having to do that, working with the school district.
Yeah.
So I can totally relate. And so if you could tell us, what were some of the biggest obstacles you faced during your homeschooling journey, and let us know how you overcame them?
Well, I think the biggest one was sort of a disappointment in that I was trying to help my kids, especially my younger one, but keep up with what was happening in his grade level. And I was trying to use, a curriculum that I thought was really great. And then both of them didn't want to do the lessons. They just didn't want to do them. And I keep adjusting the lessons and trying to make it work for them. And they were like, not interested. And I think at this point, a lot of homeschool moms sort of, go, okay, I tried, I can't do it. But I had a special needs background as a teacher, and I had trouble doing it. But I didn't give up at that point. What I did was I decided I'm just going to switch directions. I'm going to go a different way.
Beautiful.
So what I decided to do was pay attention to their passions. And I was really interested in finding out what they really loved, what was really going to inspire them. And that's a whole story, in itself.
Right. Yeah.
There, Kyle, with Kyle, the younger one, the way it happened was that he didn't want to work. We were outside shoveling snow, and we were in Colorado. It snowed a lot. It was light snow, so he could help. And he was like, I don't want to help do this. I don't want to do this. I said, well, what are you going to do? And he turned around to me and said, I'm going to build a snowplow bike. And I said, okay, build a snowplow bike. How are we going to do that? And he found a neighbor who was willing to help, who knew how to do welding. And the two of them made a plan, and they built the thing. And Kyle was able to plow the driveway with his bike as long as we didn't have any more than 3 inches of snow. And I started teaching that way. And it was so delightful that he figured that out almost all by himself. And that's when I started realizing that I still kept doing lessons. I still did lessons, but I combined it with this kind of an approach. And then they got more interested in what I was doing.
That's great. Now, sticking with your younger son, Kyle, I understand he didn't read until he was 17, but now he's excelling in business. So Can you tell us more about that and maybe some, insight that other parents could take away?
Well, I think the thing I would say, especially if you're homeschooling children who have some uniqueness, But I think any kids, I would say the most important thing is to come from an assumption that your children are going to do great things, even while you're feeling like you're not being able to teach them because they're not maybe really wanting to learn what you're teaching, and you have to figure out a way to reach them. But every moment, keep going. My kids are going to succeed. They're going to find a way, because a lot of the way they find out is with their own passions. And people would say to me, well, they have special needs, you can't just do that. But it's true, because at some point, a child gets interested in being independent. But back to Kyle's story, I want to tell that a little bit more. So Kyle was 4 years behind his peers in reading, and I used all my special needs techniques, and it was just a challenge. And but we learned in all these other ways, and he's a very bright boy. And then when he didn't really formally read till he was about 16, 17. And then I just want to go on to say that the homeschool environment was okay. So he didn't want to take his driver's ed test until he was 21, because he was a little nervous that he wasn't going to pass. But he passed with flying colors when he finally did it. But what happened was that he had a passion for cars, and he had a passion. He started learning about auto mechanics at that tender age, how to build things, how to put things together. And today, he started passing his peers around his interest in sales, his interest in mechanics, his personality, and he went on to have his own dealership at 23, his own car dealership at 23. Wow. And he was successful until COVID. And then he went on to work at different dealerships. And today he's one of the top salesmen in a dealership in Tampa. And he's also had some other opportunities in business. And he's making more than almost all his peers. So you never know what's going to happen. You just have to believe in your kids. Something good's going to happen if you listen to the message that their soul is trying to say about what they really want to do.
And I can totally get on that frame of thought, because with my son, we encouraged him to do what he was interested in. And
tell them that a little bit. It's a great story.
Yeah. So my son, Ryan, I could tell, right away, he was different. He just saw the world totally differently. And but it wasn't until he was in high school, and I gave him some additional support from a coach in figuring out what he might want to be doing when he graduates high school. And she actually supported and, encouraged him to do what it is that he loves, which is he had a great gift for art. And he could take a piece of paper and draw, say, Spider-Man to scale.
Wow.
By holding, one of the action figures in his hand.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so now he does animation and supports himself. His client is on the other side of the planet, and he's happy, and is really a productive member of society, which is what we all want to be, I would think. And so anyway, yes, so definitely encouraging and supporting where their interest is, because then they'll be more productive and happy. So
yeah, when you think about it for a minute, it's true for all of us. When our passion gets involved, as adults, then we're much happier and we're more successful because we do that. But public school doesn't, really
No.
think about that. And
Right.
that's one of the things we can do as homeschool moms.
Right.
And I just really want to encourage you that the success of your children is very connected to this. And this is only one little piece of what I can share about how to do it, especially with a child who has autism. I mean, it's not as easy as what I'm saying. There's a lot of steps involved.
Absolutely.
But, there's so many things that happened, and we can talk more about them. But that's part of what I want to do. What I want to do here with you guys is encourage you to get really curious about what does it take to help your children succeed. And what can you do to make a difference for them?
So if I couldn't just shift us just a little, if
Okay.
you could talk about Jaison, how did Jaison's love for theater and friendship lead to the creation of Dreams of an Autistic Playwright?
Oh, that's what my whole book is about. More Than You Hope For, The Unexpected Joy of Raising an Autistic Playwright is the name of my book. That's what the whole book is about, is what it was like to take him on this journey, and also what was going on for me, what it was like for me. So ask me again, what did you say again?
Yeah, so how did Jaison's love for theater
Okay.
and that lead to the creation of Dreams of an Autistic Playwright? And I know you took him, he always had a love for theater.
Yeah.
Is that correct? And
well, not exactly.
Not
I think
exactly.
I think it's worth telling the side story, which is
Yes.
that he, when he was little, we took him to, the ice shows, an ice show, and he hated it. And we took him back again, and he hated it again. And we didn't take him to anything like that. And then we ended up in Disneyland, and we were exhausted. It was hot. And we ended up in a theater just because he had to get out of the heat. And so we went and sat down in the theater, and I thought he was going to have a terrible time. And he fell in love with the production of Aladdin. And that was the beginning of him really loving theater. And he and I have had some long talks about why. And some of it has to do with the fact that when he was little, he saw kids playing with toys and he couldn't do it. And that he can, as a writer, he can make people play, interact with each other and create those kinds of creative things that he missed as a young child. And it's all about friendship for him. The play is called Dreams of an Autistic Playwright. And it's about his day-to-day life at home and his dream life with these characters that help him make friends. So when he's in his day-to-day life, he has to type to communicate like he really does. But in his dream life, he made the character that plays him be able to talk. Mm-hmm. So he talks to the other characters, and they advise him, and they tell him how to make friends. They help him to try to meet a girl. And the play is all about that. And it's such an uplifting play. So many plays about special needs are they can be kind of depressing because it's very hard to have that kind of a life. But his play had childlike, aliveness in it, and yet he has honed his craft, and he's now turned the play into a musical with 10 songs. He hasn't written the songs; he just wrote the lyrics.
That's beautiful. So as his work is evolving, like you said, he's now turned the play into a musical. You have the book, and then I hear there's movies coming down the road.
Yes. You can take a play and turn it into a movie. Like Jaison's been watching the SpongeBob. You can take a musical and turn it into a movie. Jaison's been watching the SpongeBob musical on TV. He just loves it. He loves musicals on TV. So Jaison and I talked about it, and I was in this group, and I saw this fellow who was a movie producer, a filmmaker, And I called him up and we talked, and he loved the idea of creating a movie from the musical. And we became great friends, and he loves Jaison. And we had just a wonderful, wonderful experience with him. And he has a very good friend who's also a filmmaker, who has been nominated 4 times for an Emmy Award, and 2 times he won. So we have an incredible, crew. It's 2 incredible men who want to help make the play into the musical into a movie, and the book that I wrote, that Jaison helped me write, into another movie. So we're on this cusp of this whole exciting adventure to bring awareness about autism in a new way. Because when the play happened, the play got a stage reading at Colorado University, and then it was performed by a community theater in Denver. And when that happened, it was a lot of, neighbors and people we knew, and there were people who would pass us by at the library or at the supermarket, and they didn't know how to relate to Jaison. But after they saw the play, they stood in line 10 people deep for a chance to type with Jaison and say to Jaison, I thought they would say something like, oh, what a cute play, that's so sweet. That isn't what they said. This is what they said. They said, oh my goodness, this play changed my whole perspective of what autism is. I mean, I didn't really know that you were in there and that you were so brilliant. And I'm so excited to see this play. And that's when our lives changed. Those people, their comments, it changed our lives, because we realized we have to find a way to get this out.
Right. So this collaboration with these filmmakers and the significance that, this has impacted, your family. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Not sure exactly where to go with that one. Well, I guess the way I can say it is that as this whole thing progressed, it's been such a journey. I mean, we didn't even know for sure when Jaison didn't talk. And we didn't know for sure if he had language in his head, if he was thinking, we thought he probably was, and we thought he probably was smart, but we didn't know. And then he started typing when he was 10. And it was such an amazing moment in my life, but it was just the beginning, because he kept surprising me over and over and over. The first time he surprised me was about 3 weeks after he had started typing. And I thought, okay, when he first started typing, I thought, okay, I can teach him to read now. Mm-hmm. 3 weeks, or 3 weeks, the word 3 weeks, he was writing three sentences, with 3-syllable words. And I was, oh my God, this guy is incredibly smart. And he would keep surprising me. And my husband and my younger son, we all just sort of gathered around him and got really curious about what was going on for him. And this whole project, especially when the filmmakers got involved, became a centerpiece for our life as a family.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, with the impact of the play, Dreams of an Autistic Playwright, share with us a little bit about, the broader influence and possibilities that Jaison work has created, either within your family, community, and beyond.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about people having read the script and turning to me and saying, this play is not like any other play that's out there. When Jaison was writing the play, he was having a really hard time. You know how our children with autism are often anxious. And so he was having a hard time with the anxiety of writing the play. And after a while, I started realizing it was because he had such a big dream from the time he started writing. He wanted this play on Broadway. We had taken him to 100 plays, and he wanted it produced at the level like Disney does The Little Mermaid. I mean, he really wanted it produced. And I had to say to him, Jaison, you can't write the play from that place. You have to write the play for you, and you have to write it from the sense of having a small venue and just enjoy it, just play with it for you. And he started to get that, and that helped. But as he grew and as he changed, and as people, like I said, at the theater started helping us see that he had a gift for helping other people who don't know much about autism to begin to change their view. Because if you're a parent of a child with special needs, there's a point where your life is just about how to help the child. And then there comes a point in time when you go, oh my, it's not about helping the child anymore. It's about helping the community understand how to relate to the child. And that's the piece that's so missing, is that it's hard to get the community to understand the contribution that can be made by people who have a different way of interacting. I call them people that are uniquely gifted. And Jaison has that gift to help people wake up to the fact that people with autism can make a contribution to the world. But it goes a little farther than that. As this whole thing progressed, I started making friends in different countries with other mothers who have children with autism or other neurodiversity. And one was in Zimbabwe and another's in the Philippines. And some of them were in Spanish-speaking countries. And they, some of those, if people have education and they have resources, then sometimes the mothers are getting support. But most all the mothers, they're not getting any support at all, like nothing. I mean, here in the States, we get support as homeschool moms, not so much, but there are programs out there, and we need so much more. There's so much more we need, and this play can spearhead a whole new way for people to look at how to create a bridge between neurodivergence and neurotypical people, and a bridge to helping people understand that we need to help the moms and the families. And so that's a big part of what we're doing is as we're developing the movies, we're also creating something called the International Autism Project, which is about sharing this whole event, this whole story with people around the world to help people get the services they need. And these two filmmakers are the key to making that happen.
Oh, it just fills my heart with joy, and, speaking of being supportive for the moms, I hear you have a program that can help support them on their journey. So if you could tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with a book and just say that when I've been writing this book for decades. So when I was a very young mom, I started writing the book because I couldn't find the support I needed out there. I mean, my mother tried, and some of my friends tried, and my husband tried, and my husband does a really good job, actually. But I still needed more support. And so I started writing the book, telling my story and imagining somebody, a wise woman who would be able to say to me the things I needed. And as the decades went by, I became the wise woman in the story, advising my younger self. And that's a part of the theme of the book. And so where were we going? Oh, the mothers. So part of what happened is I became the woman that I wanted the help from. And so I really have this thing in my heart of wanting to be there, but in a different way than most people who serve the autism family community. And that's that you will probably have some good support with how to help your child. It doesn't mean you can necessarily do it, but somehow you're finding a way. But what about you? How do you get through this and turn exhaustion into resilience? And how do you turn, depression into happiness? How do you do that? And you got to do it for a long time. It's not just like a year or 2 years or 5 years. It's a long time. It's a lifetime, really. And so I created a brand new program called Discover Your Worth. And it's set up in a brand new way. It's not like a Facebook group, and it's not like a support group that you go to. And it's not a summit, and it's not Zoom calls. And I set it up because it's not like a coaching session, a big, hour-long coach, like going to see a therapist, because we can't get the support we need to make those things work.
Right.
So it's set up so that you can be going through your life, and you can send me a video, a message, or an audio message, and I will respond to you in shortly from what you wrote. And sometimes I take the responses that I get from the moms and group them together into topics, and I respond to the topic, but it feels like I'm talking just to you. And it's not about interacting with each other. It's about really getting the support directly. And so I want to say that right now we're starting a new Discover Your Worth program. It's a 4-day thing. And during that time, you can send me things, and you can talk, you can communicate with me in this way, and you can get a lot of support. And I know some of you are sitting there going, I want that. I can't afford it, but oh, you can. I made it $27. I want you all to get a chance to have the support. And if you want to text, I have a wonderful team who's going to help with that. And Tara is one of those people. She's my main gal who's going to help me make sure that you have a chance to get this kind of support. So I'm really glad you're getting a chance to know her as well.
Yeah.
So in the chat, let's talk about how they can get in touch with me.
Absolutely. That was my next question.
Well, if you're in this group, this autism group, I'll be posting different things, and as I post them, you'll find me, and you'll be able to. Okay, I have a free gift for you all. It's first chapter. I made an audio chapter.
So they're going to get the first chapter in audio form of your book.
It's not the first chapter. It's a chapter.
A chapter. I'm sorry. You're right.
That's
One
okay.
chapter.
Right.
And how can they get that, or what's the first step someone can take?
If you can see it in the chat, we're going to put it up in the chat. You can click the link and get the free chapter, and it's totally free. It's a free chapter. And that's the first thing, that you can do. It's short and it's fun. And well, some of it's fun, some of it's kind of deep, but anyway, so that's the first chapter. And then you can also, once you get into that, get the free chapter, you'll be getting my emails. And in my emails, I'll tell you a lot about the Discover Your Worth program, which you can probably also see in the chat. And the Discover Your Worth program, you can, sign up for $27 and you're in. I mean, we have a limit about how many people we can take in this particular round. So you might want to sign up quickly. And I'll be there for you in a brand new way. And so will my team. And I really want you to have the support that I didn't have when I was younger. I want you to have somebody there who understands and listens, at least the best I can do.
Right. Well, it really sounds like there is hope, and you're providing that. And, as, frustrating and all those other emotions that we experience, with children who are uniquely gifted. there is, there is a way, there is help, there is support, and, let's put that link in the comment again. So people want to grab that book or that audio chapter and get on that, and let's go.
Yeah. And I'm talking about a 4-day program, but there's
Right.
more in store. That's just the place you start.
Right.
And even if you're a working mom, you can still do it, because it's set up. You do it when you're ready, and there's little lessons. So yeah, we need to make sure that people who have children with autism aren't as alone as you and I were in that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you coming from that experience, your whole program is devised to help moms, parents in the moment, when we can't sit and watch, something for an hour, our child's going to need us. So it's done in a way that works with the parent.
Yeah. And it's helping you help your child, and it's helping you help yourself, and not just self-care. It goes into, a whole lot of ways that you can really make your life begin to work. Because believe me, when my son was little, my life didn't work. I know what you're going through, and I know year after year after year it can feel like that. And it's not just because my child has this particular gift. I didn't know it was, but your child may have a gift too, even if it doesn't look like that at all. So, so wherever you are, I'd love to give you some support with this.
Right. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sharon. And
Thank you, Sarah.
We'll see you on the next live.
On Tuesday.
There you go.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.